Cissé. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your seats.
Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social. This is the Everton match preview. We are playing Everton at home because, of course, we have played them away opening day of the season, Jack, and it was a great result. And we play them again on the back of many changes because they got a new manager. They are now starting to pick up a few results. Obviously, beat Peterborough in the Cup, and then they got a good result against Spurs last time out. And in between that was a loss to Villa. Now, Jack, kick us off, mate. Are you worried about Everton's visit, considering we're on the back of 3 wins in a row?
Yeah, actually. History dictates that we always do something silly about this point. I think getting 3 wins in a row has always been a struggle for us as a club. I mean, it's not. We often talk about it. We don't do it much, and I don't think that's anything to be too ashamed of. I think getting 3 wins in a row in the Premier League is a very difficult task. Everton do seem to turn up on occasion at the Amex. I don't think anybody can etch from our minds that 5-1 defeat in 2023, just before we got Europe. So, yeah, they do have a tendency to do something quite impressive down at the Amex. So I'm a little bit worried, but form dictates that I shouldn't be worried. So I'm not worried on the form-wise. I mean, that was a good win against Tottenham, but they did look a bit shaky towards the end, and Tottenham made a late rally. So, swings and roundabout. They've got Moyes back. He's probably solidified them a bit, and they look a lot less chaotic than they did under Dyche at the beginning of the season.
I was going to ask about that. Let's talk about David Moyes quickly, because of course he is. Everyone talks about this new manager bounce, and it looks like he's sort of got that a little bit, I suppose. I mean, it's very early days, but it's a very interesting appointment because a lot of people might question, is it a step backwards bringing David Moyes in? Because he's quite old school. He's been questioned at times in various different clubs about his tenure. Obviously, he had a great spell at West Ham where he obviously won a European trophy, and of course, a really good period at Everton as well back in the day. So, what are your thoughts on Moyes? And do you feel like it is a backward step, or do you feel like Everton are maybe going in the right direction with their new stadium coming up as well?
Well, I mean, there's 2 ways of looking at this. I think you've probably been a little bit harsh on David Moyes. I think, to say like sorry, not you. It is a bit harsh to take the backward step. I think he had a really good few seasons at West Ham. He won them a European trophy, which not many English managers have done. Well, he's not English; he's Scottish for starters. But British managers have done.
It's like Alex Ferguson.
Some of the best managers in the world have never won a European trophy. So, yeah, I think that's really good. I think he probably got harshly treated by West Ham when he did get booted out at the end, but I think that was coming for a long time. He almost was sort of like, it was a long time coming for him, which seemed a shame because they're not really performing this season. So you do wonder whether he was the glue holding that club together. The other way you can look at it, of course, is don't go back. We did it with Mickey Adams, and that went terribly and almost got relegated. So, it'll be interesting to see how it gets on. Obviously, he's got a great legacy at Everton, got them in the Champions League. He got them in Europe multiple times. So, yeah, he's a good manager, and it's a huge club and a huge job to take on. So, I expect to see they will stay up, but I'm not expecting anything more than that this season. But I think that's all they'll want, isn't it, to go into the new stadium in the Premier League. It's the important thing, isn't it? Because it's going to cost them a lot of money.
I think, am I right in saying, I could be miles off it here, but aren't they one of the only teams not to be relegated in the Premier League?
Not just the Premier League, never.
Never? Oh, wow. In top flight?
Top flight, never been relegated from the top flight.
So,
which is incredibly impressive history to have there, And they are really a sleeping giant, other football club. They were huge in the 80s. I don't think there was a point in the 80s when the Premier League title was outside of Merseyside. So, they're a big club who've had quite a few years of decline, which I think is for various different reasons. And ultimately, they're not a club who has brought in a massive, multi-billion foreign owner who can inject their club with money, whereas other clubs, they have. So they've sort of been left behind in that aspect. And then when one did come along, a foreign owner in Moshiri, they just didn't have a clue what they were doing and basically got them points deduction from financial irregularities. So they've got unlucky in that sense. So it'd be interesting to see how Moyes gets on back at West Ham.
No, definitely. Right, and let's talk about our fortunes. Obviously, it's all turned around. We obviously covered it a lot in the post-match Manchester United podcast. But going into this one, are you confident that we can keep this good run going? Is there anything that suggests that we can't? And yeah, do you have any worries about potentially how Everton will set up? And we've notoriously struggled against sides that sort of usually come quite defensive, which I'm assuming David Moyes will. So yeah. What worries have you got from a Brighton front?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've had the problem before. I remember the last time Moyes played down at the Amex, it was 3-1 to West Ham, and it was a bit of a disaster all round. I think he's an intelligent manager, and he knows how to play the game, doesn't he? So against bigger sides, or bigger or further up the table side. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on. I think they will come defensive, but I don't think there's nothing to suggest that we can't go out and win this game. Other than fate or something like that, I think it doesn't look like anybody else has got injured during the week, which is nice change. Other than Matt O'Reilly, who wasn't available at United, and of course we've now lost Jack and Moda, which I don't think will be a huge dent in the squad, especially with Diego Gomez coming in. I think it will be. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no. Talking of Diego Gomez, do you want to see him feature? Obviously, I know you made a very, very small cameo in the Man United game, but do you feel like he might have a big part to play now from then till the end of the season?
Interesting one. I don't want to rush him in straight away by saying that I want him to start. I think the Chelsea game will be a big opportunity for him. And if anybody gets injured, because it seems that we can't go more than 2 games without somebody else getting injured. So, I'm not about rushing him in. Getting him used to the squad would be much better. So, just see how it goes. If we're chasing a goal, I don't see why he shouldn't come on to provide something different. So, he's one of many options.
He's a bit more attacking, isn't he? Rather than sort of like a defensive mid, for example. He's a bit more attacking threat. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits into the system and how he fits into the team. But I'm excited to see him play more. Obviously, it was a very short cameo, and we didn't really see. I think he only got a handful of touches in the Man United game. But it'll be very, very interesting to see. And then going forward for us, obviously we've been emphatic again. We talked about it in the podcast. Minter, Matoma, João Pedro, Rutter coming off the bench. We've got so many options now going forward. How excited are you about that prospect, about potentially those kind of players really hurting Everton? Because we saw in the Everton away game at the beginning of the season how influential Matoma and Minter were. Do you feel like they're going to have the same success? Because I now, just to add a bit more context, I think now O'Brien plays at right back, and they've got Tarkowski and Branthwaite at centre back, which I'm 99% sure was very different to how they lined up against us at the beginning of the season. So do you feel like that defence can hold up against our attack?
Yeah, definitely. I think that we've got an opportunity for us to kick on and really put the knife in against the defence, which hasn't been amazing this season. They've obviously got Branthwaite back now. Hopefully somebody at Everton has learned that probably putting Ashley Young against Mitoma probably wasn't the greatest brainwave as a football club they've ever had, which was quite something to behold. Look, I think we're attacking, we're on form, we're confident again, which is really good. I think confidence is so much of football. It's just confidence. If that attacking back line is playing at its best, then Everton's defence will have a hard afternoon to look forward to. Yeah,
they're in for a long afternoon for sure. Of course, if they're all on form, which hopefully they are. Would you make any changes, Jack? Obviously, we've had a pretty, especially centre midfield, for example, Yari Baleba look like they're now sort of potentially pinning down that centre midfield role. Obviously, João Pedro is pretty much a starter every time he plays. Matoma as well. Minter now starting to secure that right wing position. Defensively, pretty much the same. Dunkey and Van Heck you expect. Veltman at right back. Estepinian at left back. Verbruggen. It pretty much picks itself, just going through it.
It does.
Is there anyone you would make a change, or would you want to see anyone potentially go from the off?
I mean, it's a hard one for me. I think the key one is Jorginho Rutter, who hasn't been starting games. But it's hard to work out who to drop, really, on that form.
That's the problem, isn't it?
I think he's a great asset to have on the bench to come off. So, I wouldn't make a massive amount of changes, but I wouldn't be if Rutter came in for one of the front four, very interchangeable. I wouldn't be disappointed. But look, I think all these players have suddenly got a bit of confidence, especially Minter. If you drop Minter, is his confidence going to drop? I want to see him stay in the team. Maybe some other players, maybe. But you don't need to rest because we haven't got a game. So I'll just go as strong as we can and as workable as we can. Maybe Welbeck for Rutter at some point during the game, I expect will happen subs-wise. But yeah, I think we've got a plethora of options again, which is great.
Yeah, I'm very much the same as you. The only one I'd potentially change, and this is just to protect him more, if anything, is Danny Welbeck maybe for Rutter. But again, that's just for keeping him fit and not getting him injured again, because Welbeck's so important to how we play, and I feel like we missed him a lot when he was out. So having him back is key. So that's the only one I potentially do. But yeah, I suppose we've pretty much covered most things with this preview. But match prediction, Jack, how do you see the game going? I know it sounds pretty positive from our end. We go into this full of confidence. But yeah, how do you see the game going?
I can't say it again, but 1-1's rattling around my head. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Brighton victory.
Love that. Any goal scorers?
Yeah. I think Danny Welbeck's going to get back on the goals scoring sheet, and maybe someone from midfield for a nice change.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Maybe a Belieber wonder goal.
Love that. He does love a little wonder goal, doesn't he? A little long ranger.
I think, but on a serious, I think it's going to be a tight game, but I think we'll just about edge it, really. So,
no, I agree. Do you know what? I've got all this weird feeling that they're going to score, because do you know actually one player we haven't actually talked about quickly? I do want to talk about him actually. Ilman Ndiaye, I think that's how you say it. Ndiaye. Yeah, Ndiaye. He is a fantastic footballer. Like even that goal really he scored against Spurs was fantastic, and he brings a lot of threat even on his own. He can make things happen. So for me, he's sort of the biggest threat I look at when it comes to the forward attacking players for Everton. But yeah, you know, I think they still pose a lot of threat. Even Calvert-Lewin, you know, like I know he's not the most prolific goal scorer, but he can still, you know, turn up when he wants to.
Well, this is the thing. A player who has always struggled quite badly with Calvert-Lewin in the past is Lewis Dunk. Lewis Dunk just hasn't been able to get a grasp of him on occasion. So it'll be interesting to see that.
Why do you think that is?
I think he's got good feet. I mean, you look at his goal he scored against Tottenham at the weekend. He had good feet to get through that defence and then roll into the bottom corner. So I think it's just, you know, Dunk just seems to have strikers he struggles against. You know, I wouldn't really say he ever really massively struggled against Harry Kane, for example. But there's certain players who, a bit taller, a bit stronger with a bit of pace, and Calvert-Lewin's probably been out of form for the last season and a bit, but he always seems to turn up at the Amex, so which is
he does love
bizarre
it.
one, really. But yeah,
potentially him and Ndiaye can link up and cause.
I mean, Ndiaye looks a really good player. You know, that's a really good pickup considering that they're under. You know, I think their budget was quite limited and what their options are, and you know, to get him in from Marseille, I think it was, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
To get him in from Marseille is a really, really good pickup. You know.
Well, he was a really good player for Sheffield United, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He's done really well there.
He's got experience of playing within the UK. He's, you know, probably cheap because you're getting him from abroad. He's not an English national team player, so he's not got the English tax on him. So for me, I think they've done really well picking him up. And actually, quite a few of their signings this season have been quite decent little pickups. You know, Jake O'Brien, who they got from Lyon's
he's a really good player. Yeah,
he is a good player. I mean, it was his first Premier League start of the weekend, but what I've seen of him before that, he is a very good player, and that was only for a couple of, you know, a relatively low fee. A player who Crystal Palace let go for a nominal fee, really. Why Crystal Palace overlooked him, I'm not entirely sure, but he's a good player, you know, and they have got rid of some of the deadwood. I think, is Beto gone now, or is Beto still there?
I think he's still there.
Is he still there? I thought we'd finally lost the great man that is Beto. Yeah, Beto is still there.
He's on the bench. Yeah, he was on the bench.
So after saying that Beto's crap, I have no doubt in my mind that he is going to score tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's just a bit of a donkey, isn't he? So and look,
I'm sorry, I keep remembering little bits. Sorry, just quickly. I remember Decore in that 5-1 defeat. He was phenomenal that day. Again, if he turns up in that kind of form, and with that midfield three of Mangala, Decore, and Gay, that's a pretty physical, very robust centre midfield. So it's going to be a tough one for us to break through that as well. So now that I'm actually sort of thinking about it a bit more, it is becoming more and more difficult, the task.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think midfield's probably, or getting a good grip in midfield has been a little bit of our problem this season. But, this is where, Hösler's idea of sort of getting rid of a midfield and emptying the midfield kind of helps with these sort of teams because, if there's no one there and we're just going wide, there's no point of the midfielders being there. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see that battle in the midfield and how we sort of attack that because I think midfield is probably one of their more stronger elements of their side. So it'll be interesting to see how we sort of do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then finally, I've got one more thing to talk about, but I'll just give my match prediction. I agree. I've got a weird feeling they're going to score, so I'm going to go with a 3-1 Brighton Hove Albion victory. I'm going to stay positive. Hopefully, we make it 4 on the bounce, and we carry on this good form. But before we wrap up, Jack, we did ask in the last podcast any suggestions for names. Now, to be fair, there's been lots of comments on YouTube, lots of comments on Twitter. So I'm going to start with Twitter quickly. I'm going to give out some suggestions, Jack, and then you can give me your feedback on them. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Rutter Woke Nonsense. I really like that one. That is good.
Yeah, that's a good one. I do like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got Enter Shaqiri from Mike King.
That was Enter Shaqiri was my old one. Yeah, we're not using that.
Oh, okay.
Shaqiri's been long gone.
Yeah,
long gone.
So it has to be a current player, just to clarify.
Oh, maybe not.
Okay, like a legend, maybe, like a legend.
Yeah, legend will do.
Okay, all right. Right. So we got a few from Albion Raw here. So I'm a Believer, which is a very we've heard before. For Bart's sake, one for the oldies apparently. Life on March. Life on March is good. That's good.
I like that one. That was my favourite one.
Life on March is good. Caro on regardless. That's good.
Yeah. Solly put the kettle on. Now. Yeah.
Eagle Week. Mr. Steal Your Girl was one of my personal favourites. I'm not going to lie.
I like that one. I also made up one myself that someone says, do they have to continue to have a Sophie Alice Bextor theme, which was Groove Van Heck, If This Ain't Love, which is the only other Sophie Alice Bextor song which anyone knows. So, if you're listening today, you've got a little bit of education on Sophie Alice Bextor, which is something which is, good. You know what? I'm probably just not going to change it. Boring answer.
Oh,
I know.
So disappointed.
Yeah, I know. No, maybe I'll change it. I'll see if there's any good ones. I just can't be bothered with the admin. Can I?
Final one that I was a big fan of was I Can't Believe It's Not Butters, or Guy in brackets. Which big up Guy Butters. If anyone remember, if you know, Guy Butters, what a man. Yeah. What an absolute man at centre back.
I'll take that one.
Yeah, it's not Guy Butters. So but there you go. That's a big bombshell. Jack's not going to change his name after all that.
No, I might. Okay. Come on, I need more suggestions.
Okay, more suggestions. Put it in the comments of this video as well. More suggestions. We'll close it at before the Everton game. We'll close the submissions before the Everton game, and we'll see what we come up with. But some great suggestions, so we appreciate everyone commenting and putting their suggestions forward. But Jack, thank you so much for joining me as per usual. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this preview as much as I did. Please like, comment, subscribe as per usual, and obviously give us 5-star review on all the listening apps and all that jazz. So we shall see you after the Everton game. Peace.